Hello and welcome to my channel, The Good Life. My name is Nicole Goss and I'm a licensed mental health professional, and on this channel we explore all areas of well-being, including relationships. Today I thought that we would talk a little bit about mending relationships. If we have been in a relationship long enough, we will eventually do something intentionally, or sometimes we get a little offhand and do it purposely to hurt the person that we care about, in which case we will need to apologize. And so today I thought that we would talk about how to give someone a good apology so that we can go about mending relationships, getting back on track. But before we talk about how to actually give a good apology, I wanted to talk a little bit about sometimes what comes up that keeps us from giving an apology when we should. Okay, so I used to do these workshops and they were about communication, and every once in a while during these workshops, when we would get to the part about forgiveness and saying I'm sorry, I would have someone who would say, and that I don't believe in apologizing because that is about giving away power. And they would say it with their full chest, and they meant it in their very fiber of their being, that they didn't give apologies ever, never, and they don't say I'm sorry to people because they felt like that would be giving away power. And I would be thinking in my mind, I don't know what small kingdom you're running. I wish I didn't say it, but I would be thinking it. I don't know what small kingdom you're running. But if you do feel that way, I want you to reconsider, because apologies is not about power dynamics. That's not what's happening in relationships. You're not keeping power by holding your sorry hostage, or you're not, giving anything away by, giving someone an apology. Actually, what you're doing when you're giving someone an apology is you're acknowledging that you have harmed them and that you have hurt them and that you want to make it right. So if for you there is power in that, we can, give some thought to what kind of power that is. And if you're the person that knows, my partner thinks that way, my partner feels like, or the person in my life feels like, I don't issue sorries, I will never say sorry to you when I've harmed you because I don't want to give power to you, I'm going to tell you what I would tell my children. I would say, back away slowly before you turn and run. But no, forgiveness and apologies is about mending relationships. It's about acknowledging you're wrong and being able to go forward, or starting to go forward. Another thing that comes up sometimes, or would come up sometimes in these workshops, is that people would say they're not going to give an apology for something they don't feel they should be apologizing for. So for instance, someone may say, I think that she is not right for saying this hurt her feelings, right? So they would say, I'm not going to apologize to my partner because what I said shouldn't have hurt her feelings. And so to that I would say, I want you to consider the apology is not about the intent. It is about the end result. So if you have done something that someone comes to you and says, that hurt me, it's not about what you intended it. It's not about if you even say, well, that shouldn't hurt anybody's feelings. Why should I say I'm sorry? It is about the person who is saying, for them, the end result is that I was hurt. And if that's someone that you care for, then you may want to consider whether or not you want to mend this relationship by acknowledging that hurt and saying you are sorry, right? So give that some thought. The apology is ultimately a tool to help you get back in right relationship with someone. It's not just for that person though. It is also for the person who has done the wrong. It is a relief sometimes to be able to say, I am so sorry. I know I did this thing and it hurt you and I want to move forward. So it is actually not just for the person who has been harmed, but it's also for the person who has done something to hurt someone. So let's talk about what goes into a good apology, because it seems simple enough. I'm sorry. But a lot of times people issue an apology that really doesn't move the needle. A lot. So we want to make sure that you are able to give an apology that actually helps you start moving towards mending your relationship or getting back in good. One of the first things you want to do is maybe start out with your intent. like where you would hope that you and this person are going to end up. Let's say that the apology that you need to give to somebody is someone that you are in a romantic relationship with, or they're your partner, and maybe you've done something that they're thinking, okay, I don't know if we can move on. Your intent would be to say something along the lines of where you hope you guys end up. So you might say, listen, you're someone I care about and I want to spend my life with, and so I want to, and that's your intent, I want to share that you're someone I care about and I want to spend my life with. And so then we want to go into the apology. The apology is simple. I am sorry for, right? And when you issue that second part of the apology, I am sorry for, you want to wholeheartedly acknowledge it, the thing that you did. And by acknowledging it, I am recommending that you don't say, well, I did this, but. No, you want to not, I did something that hurt you. It's not, but you were never at home. I'm sorry that I hurt you by talking to this other person, but you were never at home. That but negates everything. So you don't want to do that. You just want to acknowledge the whole thing. You don't want to say, I'm sorry, but if you had, no, then that's putting some of the blame on them. You want to wholeheartedly acknowledge the part that you did, on your part in it. So you want us to simply own it. I am so sorry that I was talking to another person. When we are taking full responsibility for our actions, we also want to avoid making the other person feel like we are offering an explanation or an excuse. Right? So we just want to own it. We don't want to say, well, this is why I did it. We can talk about why and what comes later, but for right now, during the apologies, we just want to say we're sorry for the thing that we did. When we have issued our apology, we also want to make sure that we are not stopping with the apology. Part of our apology also needs to be about how can we help someone heal? What can I do to make it better? I was raised in a Christian environment, and I know that a lot of times as Christians, we believe that it's the person's job to do the forgiving. Once we say, I am sorry, it is their job to forgive, and we are done. Our hands are clean. All I had to do was say, I'm sorry, and they're supposed to forgive. But truthfully, we're supposed to say, I'm sorry, and how can I help make it better? It is not fair to a person to say, I know I hurt you, and my sorry is the only help that you get with that. We're supposed to say, I am sorry, and I want to know what can I do to make it better? How can I heal this so that we can go forward with our relationship? So in thinking about giving an apology, it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out speech. It is simply, one, we want to recognize that we have done something wrong. When we are getting ready to give our apology, it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out speech. It is simply, one, we want to first start out with our heart intent. You're somebody I care about. You're somebody I want to have in my life for a long time. So I want to say, I am sorry for talking to that other person. I understand that I have deeply hurt you, and I would like to hear what can I do to make it better so that we can go forward. And then we have to be present to hear whatever pain, whatever sorrow we have caused them, and open to whatever it is that they say they need in order to heal from that hurt. So again, I hope that you have found this helpful, and that if there's anybody that you need to give an apology to, feel free to. This is going to be a lot of editing. So again, to give an effective apology, we want to start with our intent, where we hope to be with this person. We want to give a heartfelt, full-fledged, I am sorry, and own all of it with no buts and ifs and no excuses. And then we want to ask, how can we make it better? How can we go forward so that we can stay in relationship? I hope that you have found this helpful. If you have any tips for saying I'm sorry or whatnot, please put it in the description. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, take care. Please like and forward and all that.